I will hit record now, so it doesn't do that awkward thing. And you want me to admit everyone?
Yeah, sure.
Got it. Okay. Oops. Sorry. So at the moment we can see your notes, right?
Yep, that's done.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yep. Okay, everyone is now coming in. I'll mute. Over to you. Everyone should be in now.
Yeah, you can see. So we wait till 1 minute.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody going?
Hi. So are we ready to start? I think all are in.
I think so. What's the time? Yes, I think
It's not. Is it okay to start?
I think so.
Yeah,
it's good.
Thanks, John. Hi, everyone. I'm Anushani, and I'm a postgraduate research fellow of Swinburne University and a postdoc for Program 4 in Quality Assurance and Compliance of Australian Cobotics Centre. So today I will be presenting on the topic, preserving the quality assurance and compliance of cobots in automated processes. So to give an outline first of the presentation, so I will be going through an overview of human cobot systems and their potential benefits for manufacturing. And I'll be talking about the importance of quality assurance and compliance for human cobot systems. And I will be showing some examples of how these quality assurance measures have been used successfully in the manufacturing industry. And also I will be discussing a little bit on regulatory standards and requirements that human cobot systems must comply with. And also at the end, I'll be looking at the best practices to preserve quality assurance and compliance in using cobots. So to first start with, to give an overview of what a human cobot system is, as you all know, it's an automated process, and it refers to the collaborative interaction between human workers and cobots in a manufacturing or industrial setting. It involves the integration of robotic technology with human labor. So I just have included this picture. So it shows how cobots have been used in the meat industry. So as in other industries, the meat sector suffers from typical problems such as working conditions and hard work. So there are many unskilled jobs that unfortunately have little appeal among the population. And usually the level of turnover is very high, either due to fatigue and physical exhaustion or similar things. So currently Industry 4 has sought efficiency in each and every one of the processes, and this has led to the treating workers as machines, which must reach certain levels of production as optimum data. So that has brought Industry 4, and we focus on Industry 5, and where it focuses on the well-being of workers and the sustainability. So that is precisely what Industry 5 seeks, and to make an industry more human, one that is made for people to work as people and not as machines. So this is where cobots have come into the scene. And what are the potential benefits for manufacturing when you use cobots in your manufacturing process? So it creates more efficient and effective production processes, and also it performs tasks that are too dangerous for humans, and also it performs repetitive or physically demanding tasks for humans. So these are the potential benefits of using cobots in manufacturing processes. So let's now look at the importance of quality assurance and compliance. So quality assurance is critical for human cobot systems in automated processes because it ensures that the products or services produced meet the required specifications and are safe for use. So reasons why quality assurance is important for human cobot systems. So I have highlighted 3 reasons, which is safety. So safety is a critical concern when it comes to human cobot systems. A malfunctioning or improperly programmed cobot can cause serious injury or damage to humans or equipment. And quality assurance measures help ensure that the cobot system is designed and programmed correctly, and that it is safe for use. And then the productivity. So quality assurance measures can help optimize the performance of a human cobot system, improving productivity and reducing waste. So this can include monitoring and controlling the system to ensure that it is working efficiently and identifying areas where improvements can be made. And the third reason is compliance. So quality assurance measures can help ensure that a human cobot system meets regulatory and industry standards. So this can include performing audits and inspections to ensure that the system is operating within the required parameters and that all safety regulations are being followed. So if proper quality assurance measures are not in place, there can be potential risks associated with human cobot systems. So some of these risks include malfunctioning. So a cobot that is not properly programmed or maintained can malfunction, causing damage or injury to humans or equipment. And also it can give inaccuracy. A poorly calibrated or inaccurate cobot can produce defective products or services, leading to waste, customer dissatisfaction, and potentially legal liabilities. And also cybersecurity. So human cobot systems are susceptible to cyber threats, which can lead to system failures, data breaches, and other security issues. So quality assurance measures can help ensure that the system is secure and that appropriate cybersecurity protocols are in place. So these are the importance of quality assurance and compliance. And now I'm going to show you some techniques which are used for quality assurance. So one which is talked very commonly is the digital twinning. So digital twinning frameworks can be used to investigate unexpected behaviors and diagnose points of failure in human cobot automated processes, leading to a number of potential outcomes. So 5 points that I have highlighted here. So early detection of faults, improved maintenance and repair, improved safety, increased efficiency, and predictive maintenance. And if I show you some of the other techniques that are used, simulation-based testing has been used. So simulation is used to test the collaborative robot's behavior and performance under different operating conditions and unexpected events. And hardware in the loop testing. So this technique involves integrating the robot with a real hardware system, such as sensors or cameras, to test the robot's ability to interact with the environment and perform the task. And also robot monitoring and fault detection. So the robot sensors and control system are monitored continuously to detect any faults or errors in the robot's performance. So the monitoring can be done using various techniques such as machine learning algorithms and statistical process control. Safety assessment and validation is also one technique that has been used. So the safety of collaborative robots is a critical aspect of quality assurance. So various techniques such as risk assessment, hazard analysis, and validation of safety requirements are used to ensure the safety of collaborative robots in different operating environments. And also process control and optimization. So this involves monitoring and controlling the robotic process in real time to optimize the performance of the collaborative robot. So moving from there, I was going to share some examples of where quality assurance and compliance have been met in human cobot systems. So some examples are for process optimization. A company has which produces consumer goods used cobots to optimize the packaging process. The cobots were programmed to pack products in a specific order and quantity, reducing waste and improving productivity. And also in a company that produces medical devices, they managed to use this as a quality control for quality control in assembling components. So the cobots would check the components when assembled, whether they are assembled correctly, and reduce the likelihood of defects. And also for automated inspection, a company that produces electronic components use cobots to perform visual inspections of components during the manufacturing process. And this has allowed them to detect the correct defects more quickly and efficiently. And also real-time quality monitoring, a company that produces automotive parts use cobots to monitor the toe applied to bolts during assembly. And if the toe was not within the specified range, the cobots would stop the assembly process, preventing defective products from being produced. So with these examples in mind, so manufacturers still are using like hand tools, like calipers, tape measures, or height gauges for measurement, which cause problems with consistency. So it is a big challenge for manufacturers in using it repeatedly. So when there are operators working like in different in morning and evening, so the output can be quite different. So with the traditional measuring tools, you only measure what you touch with, which works out to be under 10% of the product. So problems can go through the quality assurance process and be completely missed. So it's stated in the Universal Robots website that using cobots with 3D scanning measures up to 100% of the product repeatability has been achieved because of the cobots. So I think it's time for manufacturers actually to rethink of implementing cobots in their manufacturing processes. So I'm going to now talk about the ISO standards, so the compliance side. So we know that in contrast to non-collaborative robots, cobots have the critical safety requirements. Since human-robot collaboration usually occurs in an ill-structured and dynamic environment, so the coexistence of human and cobot in a shared space forms the hazardous situations, which requires appropriate mechanisms to assure the safety of humans and robots. So firstly, a cobot must meet the safety requirements as general machinery. A number of laws and directives, such as the European Machinery Directive, have to be followed. And it can be seen in this figure, diagram. You can see the laws and directives. And secondly, the components used in a cobot must meet type A standards of functional modules. And thirdly, the specific application of a cobot system must meet type B standards. And finally, the cobots as products must meet type C standards, where the ISO standards, ISO 10218 and ISO TS1506S, which is for especially for cobots, gives us the standards. So these are the required standards. And if I just give a glance of the ISO TS1506S Standards for cobots. So there are 4 figures here, so which shows the main 4 standards required. So type 1 is safety rated monitoring stop, which is known as SRMS, and type 2 is hand guidance, which is known as HG, and type 3 speed and separation monitoring, which is SSM, and the type 4 is power and force limiting, which is referred to as PFL. So what are the best practices that could be applied to preserve the quality assurance and compliance of cobots? So the risk assessment. So before implementing cobots in a manufacturing environment, it's important to conduct a thorough risk assessment to identify potential hazards and mitigate risks. And training, it's important to train workers on how to operate and work alongside cobots safely. And the application selection, of course, cobots are best suited for tasks that are repetitive, high volume, and require precision. And the integration with existing systems. So cobots can be integrated with existing manufacturing systems to improve efficiency and reduce downtime. And finally, the continuous improvement. As with any new technology, it's important to continuously evaluate and improve the use of cobots in manufacturing. So in conclusion, so all this information that I have presented is based on a scoping review of articles published between 2008 to 2023 on preserving quality assurance and compliance of cobots in automated processes. So that was the keywords used for this to find this for the articles that has been included in the scoping review. So I have a graph plotted the number of articles versus the year of publication. So you can see how it has, the number of articles have been risen from 2019 actually. There is an exponential rise. Cobots has a significant increase in automation, where the COVID-19 pandemic has driven Australian manufacturers to adapt their production lines. And the global potential for cobots has also risen hugely. Over 300,000 robots were sold globally in 2016, and the demand is growing up by like 12 to 14% every year. And in the Interact Analysis 2019, it shows that the market for collaborative robots has seen rapid growth in recent years, and it's predicted to reach 5.6 billion by 2027, accounting for 30% of the total robot market. But a recent web magazine, it states that the cobot market may hit the projected $95 billion by 2024. So some say that the surge in collaborative robotics will lead to higher unemployment rates, but several experts claim that cobots are not meant to substitute human labor, but cobots are improving productivity by taking on the tasks that those human workers used to do. They can enhance manufacturing by speeding up production timelines. So we see the ongoing growth in Australia, and we have high expectations for Australia in terms of what we expect to see for the next few years. So in conclusion, so the bottom line is we have to ensure that the quality and compliance of human cobot systems is essential for their safe and effective use in manufacturing environments. So this requires a robust framework that includes regulatory compliance, risk assessment, design and validation, documentation, and training. So by following these guidelines, manufacturers can improve productivity, quality, and safety, while also minimizing the risk of injury or accidents involving humans and cobots. So I think that's all what I have in presentation. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, it's open for you. Thank you.
Can I start? I've got a question.
Yes, John.
So it looks like the standards talk about, you know, the robots, but we all know, of course, everything changes depending on what you put on the end of the robot. We always have this joke that, you know, a cobot's not a cobot if it's carrying a chainsaw. So how do the standards people address that, the fact that, you know, that the end effector could be something incredibly dangerous? Is it talked about at all? Is there any sort of consideration of these things?
So I mean, so including the standards, what you mean is whether that can be the change that you really want, is it?
Well, they always talk about the standards, you know, and companies say, you know, our robot, meaning the arm, meets this standard and that standard, and everyone's very focused on the robot arm, you know, as being safe and it can knock into things. But they obviously the crucial thing is actually what's on the end of the arm sometimes. And I just haven't seen anyone talk about methodologies around considering the end effector and what's actually there.
Yeah, it's interesting you should mention that, because we were talking to a industry person the other day, and they mentioned the same thing, and that's a concern that they have around cobots. Now I teach in standards in my 4th year engineering subject. Right. There's another standard which covers robot cells. Right. So it's kind of covered in that, but the problem is, of course, that everyone says cobots are safe.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, you know, you send them out into industry and they go, oh, they're safe, we just set it up and now we've got a knife in its hand, you know, and it's a genuine problem. Yeah.
It actually links to the project we had last year with the Center for Work Health and Safety, which was focusing on cobot work health and safety. And in the standards, I think they only talk about that a cobot is a part machine and that you need to consider the cobot system. But actually, it's one of the first opportunities where I can say, look at our publications. I just posted the guidelines we have developed in the chat. But also to be fair, we have developed this guideline, but it's early days. So yeah, actually, I was hoping that we could drill on this a bit deeper in the ACC.
Yeah, seems like a sensible thing to do.
But yeah, the problem is at the moment, nobody thinks too much about the end effectors, and everyone just says, okay, the cobot is safe, so everything is safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
Okay.
I have a question, if I may, Anushani, or anyone for that matter. Do we have an idea of the number of cobots in Australia?
So, according to the literature, like the articles actually that I have reviewed, so it has like 30% of the robots that has been applied in manufacturing processes in Australia is cobots. So that's what they say in the recent reviews.
And how many robots are in Australia?
I'm not sure in the numbers exactly.
Is there an example of how that's changed over the years as well? So it might be 30% in the last particular year, but was it 15% the year before? Like, are we seeing a rise in that percentage as well?
Yeah, so around 2018, it was like 14%, but now it has highly increased up to 30%. Yeah.
It sounds like it's an important number for the Cobotics Centre to know.
Yeah, definitely. Any other questions?
Or maybe just a comment from me about I've seen some installations where cobots are used, but they're not used as cobots. So we also have to consider that when we look at numbers, because some people, of course, buy cobots because of the scale of them and the relative ease of integrating them, but they're not actually using them as cobots. They then still put fences up, and they're just like an old-fashioned industrial robot. So the numbers may be misleading in that sense.
Yeah, so that is a main focus, like to educate the workers. That's a main focus here.
And to that, to that point as well, are we seeing typical industrial robots used in a cobotic fashion as well, using external manipulation to maintain space with humans as well? Like, are we seeing application of industrial robotics where a much higher endpoint weight requirement is needed just to actually control it in such a way that it becomes cobotic?
Yeah, I think I have seen that sort of thing, but the other thing I've seen is cobotic-sized industrial robots, and there it's not about the weight of the payload; it's about the speed of the robot. So, if you want your robot to move super fast, super fast, then it won't be capable of being a cobot. Because it's just too quick, and that would just impart too much energy, and it hits someone. So it's a sort of seems to be a combination of size and speed.
But to that, is cobotics the practice of getting a robot collaborating with an operator as opposed to?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yes, so there are use cases where people have used a traditional industrial robot that's big, heavy, all that stuff, and made it, in inverted commas, safe, and a collaborative robot with going through the various ways of doing this. So yes, yeah. The term collaborative robots as well is is somewhat a sales term for companies of this particular class of robot, but in our definition, in our center, we're saying it could be any robot used in a collaborative way.
Awesome, that's great to hear.
Yeah, I was going to say, definitely when we visit industry sites, we do see the collaborator robots being used as if they were industrial robots. There's a lot of extra health and safety like measures, like safety curtains or other types of programming, which the industry doesn't really know the difference well, and some companies are just selling these extra services, which is not necessarily needed with cobots, especially if you look at the application. So I guess as a center, it's part of our duty maybe to inform the industry about its various uses, and I was thinking of that.
Thanks, Muge. Yeah, that's true. There is somewhat of a vested interest in the people that sell things to sell more things. Any final questions? Anushani? Anyone else got their hand up? I'm just looking at the chat here. No, I think that might be it. Well, thanks so much, Anushani.